channel. In today's video, I'm going to review the 1997 GMC Sonoma SLS pickup truck. So before I begin today's review of the car, let me kind of explain why I'm reviewing today's car. If you've been a subscriber to my YouTube channel, you know that this type of a vehicle is not the one that I would normally review. I'm a huge BMW fan, and most of my channel is devoted to reviews of sporty, affordable, fun to drive cars. So typically I wouldn't have a pickup truck on my channel, but I've decided to review this car on my channel for a couple of different reasons. Number one, my number one fan of my YouTube channel is my son. He's a big car guy, even though he's still in elementary school, and believe it or not, this is his pickup truck basically. So this is our family's truck, pretty much a yard truck that we use to have so we can buy mulch and transport different things for the house. So he loves this truck, and I think we pretty much have told him, hey, once you turn 16, if you want this to be your high school car, you're more than welcome to have it. So this is, by all accounts, his truck, and that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this review. The second reason that I'm reviewing this car on my channel is because I live in the South, and in the South, people love their pickup trucks. They absolutely love their pickup trucks. And what's interesting to me is that whenever I take this car to a mechanic to get the oil changed, to get the tires rotated, I get so many comments and compliments about this particular truck. In fact, I get more compliments and comments about this truck than I do about any of my BMWs or even my wife's Mercedes. And the reason people loved this particular truck is because of its size. In this day and age, pickup trucks are one of the most popular vehicles around. But pretty much every pickup truck is a massive vehicle. They're high off the ground, they're wide, they're long. You just can't really find a truck that's this size anymore. And I think that's one of the reasons that people just love seeing this particular truck whenever I drive it around. I don't know if it reminds them of their past, their childhood, etc. But there's just an affinity for small, pickup trucks that allow you to carry a bunch of different things that are very useful to have, but that are not a massive vehicle that take two parking spaces to park, and sometimes you're not even sure whether you can park it inside your garage. No such problem here. So that's kind of the background. But let me tell you a little bit about this truck, this 1997 GMC Sonoma SLS. This truck, the GMC Sonoma, was basically sold in two different forms. I mean, you had the GMC version, which was called the Sonoma, and prior to its being called the Sonoma, it was called the S15. And then basically the same type of a truck was also produced by Chevrolet, and it was called the Chevrolet S10. So the Chevrolet S10 and the GMC S15, and then later it was rebranded the GMC Sonoma, are effectively the same vehicle. And this particular truck is a second generation of the GMC Sonoma, the S15, the S10, that was produced in North America from 1994 until 2004. It actually, so it ended up, they stopped producing in 2004, and this truck was replaced by the Chevy Colorado, but it was still actually being produced in South America for 10 more years, which I thought was pretty interesting. So that's this is the second generation. The first generation was produced from 1984, I think, 1984 until 1994. So second generation. This is a 1997 model. And when this truck came out, you could really spec these trucks out differently, right? So the one that I have here is the GMC Sonoma SLS, two-wheel drive, extended cab, sport side, with a 4.3 liter V6 engine and a 4-speed automatic transmission, right? So that's a mouthful. And again, this was just one version of this car that you could get. You could get this car without the extended cab, You could get this car later on with a crew cab, which had an even bigger cabin. You could get it with a 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. You could get it with a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine or a 4.3 liter V6, which is the one that I have here. And you could also get it with a sports side bed, which is what you see here. Kind of the way it sort of curves around and gives the car an athletic look. Or you could also get it with a wide side body. So numerous different options, numerous different trim level models, different towing capacities, different power outputs, different driving layouts, just a lot of different ways to spec this particular car out. So the one that you see here is like I said, the SLS extended cab, sports side, 4.3 liter V6 engine, rear wheel drive. I don't know, I may have missed something there, but that's kind of what the car looks like. This particular color is the caramel bronze, I think is what it was called. Pretty cool color. It's sort of a lot of cars in the mid to late 90s had this brownish color. Like I said, this particular car comes with a 4.3 liter V6 engine producing 180 horsepower and 240 pound-foot of torque. I'll be honest with you, I've tried to check the exact specs for this car, like for the engine and the output, and it kind of varies from article to article. So the horsepower is either between 170 horsepower and 180 horsepower, and 240 pound-foot of torque. The truck weighs 3,200 pounds, this extended cab version, 3,200 pounds, so it's not very heavy. Like I said, this is a 2-wheel drive car, so it's a rear-wheel drive platform, and it's interesting that the rear end actually has a live axle, so it's not an independent rear suspension. But that's pretty much the specs of the car. Before we go inside, let me kind of do a little walk around and show you what this car looks like. Again, I think the car comes equipped with these 15-inch rims. And most of the time, nobody likes small rims anymore, but I think on this particular truck, they look really good. So 15-inch rims, some kind of a fender flare here, nice rear view mirrors. Got a little step here where you can climb up to the bed of the truck. Like I said, it's a sports side, so it has those athletic rear end like that. It does make it look sporty. I think it looks a lot better than a wide side, especially from here. You kind of see how those fenders bulge out. Here's the bed of the truck. It's pretty nice. More than big enough for ordinary household needs. Get a step right there. So yeah, this is pretty much that's what the car looks like. I think it looks great. Honestly, it looks super athletic. For what this car is. I mean, this is a truck. This is a utilitarian vehicle. It's supposed to be useful, and it is useful. But I actually think it looks pretty cool. And I love the size of it. I completely understand why people are so enamored with this car because of its size. So let me kind of take you on the inside of the car. Let's see that or not. This is like I said, the extended cab. So there's small seats here and here. I'm not sure if the adults could fit in here, but at the very least, it gives you plenty of storage in the back. And my kids can fit in the back there. Like if we go to a nearby school to ride some bicycles, we'll just put the bicycles in the back and put them in those seats, and they get a kick out of that. But there's some storage right here. Yeah, let's go inside. All right, so here we are on the inside of the car. And it's a pretty nice interior, very clean, not very cluttery. Has everything that you would need on the inside. Nothing's automated, so you got manual windows. I'm not even sure if this one has an airbag. Back then, like in 1997, Yeah, I think some of the like a passenger side airbag was an option. So a lot of the things that are standard in cars now, this particular car didn't have. But you know, I'm a big fan of the interior. It's very simple. You know, you got your headlight controls here on the left. Here's the instrument cluster. You've got the temperature gauge, the oil gauge on the left. You got the speedometer in the center. You got a rev counter in the middle as well. And then on the other side, you have the fuel gauge and the battery gauge. You got your transmission information right down there in the middle. So it's pretty nice, you know, very easy to see. And here's sort of the transmission. We you know, put a aftermarket CD player in there. Here's the cup holders. You got plenty of room here. These aren't leather seats, they're cloth seats, but they're very sturdy. They've held up really well over time. No cracks, nothing. I mean, they, in many ways, the car looks, probably almost like it was fresh out of the factory as far as the quality of the interior goes. You got a nice little armrest here. You can lift that up if you need additional room. Like I said, in the back, you've got some seats, and here's kind of what the car looks like. Let me see if I can turn this car on real quick for you guys. So there it is. All right, guys, that's it for the exterior and interior reviews of this car. Now let's take it out on the road and give you my impressions of its driving characteristics. Thanks, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome to GogoMotoring YouTube channel. So this is going to be the driving review of our 1997 GMC Sonoma SLS extended cab, two-wheel drive, sports side, 4.3 liter V6 engine with automatic transmission Sonoma pickup truck. So let me kind of begin by saying that when I watch some of these videos that I've made on various cars on my YouTube channel, I kind of notice that I keep saying the same thing in many ways for many different cars, which is, this car is precise, it handles well, I feel one with the car, I can put the car in a specific direction and it goes in exactly the direction that I want it to go in, etc. Right? I say that a lot, and it's not that there's nothing for me to say, just that a lot of the cars that I drive have those types of driving characteristics. They're precision machines. They're precise to drive. They make you feel comfortable driving them at the limit. They tell you exactly, the chassis is communicative enough to where it tells you exactly what the car is doing, where the limits of traction are, etc. Well, today, I promise you, I'm not going to be talking about how precise this particular truck is, okay? This truck is 25 years old at this point, okay? The truck's got 115,000 miles. I can't say that this is the best example of this particular vehicle in its existence. I mean, we've taken care of it, but I'm sure that there's probably a lot of work that needs to be done on this to make it feel like a brand new car. So sort of with that aside, right, talking about the car's driving characteristics, and I always like to begin with handling and steering. This car does not give me a ton of confidence to drive at a high rate of speed. The car feels quite bouncy, and there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect between like the steering inputs that you provide through the steering wheel and then what the car does. There feels like there's a little bit of a loose dead spot, like right here in the middle. Like if you can see this right now, I'm kind of like moving it back and forth, but the car's not doing anything. So, you know, in many regards, you know, this particular truck is one of those trucks that, like, if I'm driving it, I'm always driving it maximum at the speed limit. I'm not going much faster than that, because the truck really doesn't give me a lot of confidence to go, you know, drive at a high rate of speed. And even knowing that this particular car is old, you know, 25 years old at this point, probably needs some things done to it, I'm not sure I would feel much more confident driving this car at a high rate of speed, even if it was brand new and out of, you know, fresh out of a showroom floor. It definitely is not, you know, a sports car. It's you know, it's not a precision driving instrument. It's you know, it'll get you from point A to point B, but you know, you need to kind of make sure you're not, you know, driving this car at 10/10ths of it, you know, of its capabilities, if you want to remain safe. So as far as, you know, like the handling characteristics of the car are concerned, it feels kind of loose and disconnected. Yeah, but I'll also say that could also be, you know, fun from time to time. It doesn't, you know, it's like the fact that, you know, the car kind of moves from left to right, like the fact that it's not, you know, there's body roll, you've got the, you know, the live rear axle, you know, that kind of makes you wonder, hey, am I going to lose the rear end or not if I, you know, if I hit the gas? Like, none of those things, you know, all those things combined can kind of make it for an enjoyable driving experience in its own right, like not something that, you know, you want to push it and you want to feel the adrenaline of like driving at the limit, not that type of fun driving, but really more of just like, hey, it's kind of bouncy, and you know, it's almost, I don't know, probably feels like you're riding a horse or something like that, you know, just that type of imprecision. But that's what I can say for the car's like handling characteristics, you know, its braking characteristics, its acceleration. The car accelerates fairly decently. I think, like I said, 7.8 seconds 0 to 60, which is pretty quick, you know, like for a car from the 90s. I mean, that's, you know, those are not bad performance numbers. And you know, when you take into account 175 horsepower, 200, you know, for a truck that weighs 3,200 pounds, you know, that's a pretty, you know, healthy amount of horsepower and torque, you know, for a car, you know, from this particular era. So as far as like the V6 itself, I like the V6 quite a bit. You know, plenty of pickup for everyday driving. Also, if you're, you know, hauling stuff, you know, like typically what I'll have in the back is mulch and things of that nature. So like, it's got no problem, you know, carrying a load as well. So engine-wise, I'm pretty happy with it, actually. You know, transmission, it's an automatic transmission. Again, I'm never really driving this car like at the limit, you know, so, you know, it doesn't need to be shifting super fast or anything like that. But, you know, it does a decent job, you know, kind of puttering around town and, you know, changing speeds as you need to. But again, you know, keep in mind that whenever I am driving this car, it's almost never like at a high rate of speed, and things of that nature. So I think she's pretty comfortable to be in. You know, you're a little bit higher off the ground, not like you would be in a modern truck, but it is, you know, it can be pretty comfortable to kind of putter around and drive around town. So comfort-wise, not too bad. Again, haven't really taken this car on the road for 6 hours at a time, so I can't. You know, I don't know if that would, you know, if my impression of it would change after that. But you know, does a pretty good job for it being sort of a car that you drive around town. Steering feel, we talked about steering. I think steering feel, it isn't a hydraulic rack, so that's always nice. Like, it kind of gives you, you can tell through the hydraulic steering rack like what the front wheels are doing. But like I said, there is sort of like a dead spot in the middle that kind of leaves you wondering what's happening, what's the car doing, when is it going to start turning, etc. I think that's it. I'm trying to think what else I could be telling you about as far as the driving characteristics of this car are concerned. Again, this isn't a vehicle that you would be. It's not a performance vehicle. It's a truck, obviously. So, in that sense, I think the driving characteristics are fine, and they're consistent with what you would expect from a vehicle like this. And you know, again, the reason you would be buying this car is to, you know, help you with your daily chores and not to necessarily give you a bunch of driving enjoyment. So that's pretty much all I can say about the car and its driving characteristics. Appreciate your watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, stay tuned for more videos, and see you later. Thanks, guys.
Go, go, motoring! Go!